Hello, I'm Linda from Scullywag Services, and I'm going to show you today how to configure your Wordfence plugin. So let's get to it. Okay, so this is just a demo site. I have put Wordfence in here, and you can see when I come to the dashboard, it's telling me to make your site as secure as possible. Please take a moment to optimize the Wordfence web application firewall. First off, what you need to do, obviously, is to install the Wordfence plugin, which is simple enough. If you don't know how to install a plugin, I do have a video about that, so I will put a link to that too. You can see down here, Wordfence Security, it's already been installed. There's nothing here about settings though. You can see Updraft Plus has settings, and so does WP Optimize. That's because the settings are over here in the far left-hand side. So we're going to go to the panel. You can see here, it has a little nag screen here, and it will nag you until you do it. You can dismiss it, but I wouldn't recommend it. If you're going to install Wordfence, you may as well get the optimum knowledge out of it. So we're going to click here to configure. Okay, now what it does, it wants you to optimize the firewall. What it will do what it recommends based on our test. And it will ask you to download HTT or HT access. And in this case, download user IM. Sometimes, particularly if you're with SiteGround or some other website host, you do have the option to do it manually. And what it will do, you can see here, you just click here where it says if you cannot complete the setup process. If you come here, it will tell you all about it. And you can see, depending on the website host is who you pay for your internet, well, your website to live on the internet. It's like paying internet rent. If you're with SiteGround or somebody with cPanel, you click through that and it will walk through it. SiteGround now has all site tools, I believe, no cPanel. So if you're with SiteGround, click on that, and on Pagely and Kingster, but we're not with them. So we're going to download the HT access and the user INI, and then we're going to click continue. Okay, tells me that the firewall is now optimized. And you can see here, it says remove extended protection. That tells me that the extended protection has worked, so that's brilliant. Okay, and we do have other options here. But what I do like to do is come over here to the all options, and it just gives you lots of different things. And while I'm here, I'm going to save the changes for what I've done so far. Oh, no, that must have been just when I've got to do some changes first. So that makes sense. Okay, so you can choose to display all options, display the blocking menu and live traffic. It just tells you who's on your website, what's doing it. Let's do that and see if it will show up for me. Go to the dashboard. Live traffic. Yes. Anyway, it won't show because, I mean, I'm in here at the moment, but it will actually tell me who's on there. We're going to go back into all options. Okay. So I thoroughly recommend keeping update Wordfence automatically when a new version is released. It's your website security. You really want to look after it. You need to put in an email address, and it will ask you when you activate it to put in an email address. It will notify you when depending on what level you have it set to on various things. I always keep mine on low, so that it automatically notifies me when mine or a client's website needs plugins or themes or WordPress versions updated, and also if somebody's kind of trying to get in. How does Wordfence get IPs? I just leave it on the recommended. I always select hide WordPress version, same with disable code execution. If you have this selected, if you try to use, say, a headers and footers plugin to upload code, such as Google Analytics or maybe a Pinterest or Bing Webmaster code into your website, you will get an error message first off saying this is a dangerous operation. It will ask you to confirm that you do want to go ahead with this, and you would just select yes if you're confident that that's what you're uploading is correct, and it will ask you to refresh the page, and then you can do it. But it's to stop unauthorized people from uploading stuff to your website like hackers. Pause live updates when Windows loses focus. That's automatically selected, and I would keep that. What do we got here? Now, this is up to you. As I said, I get updates when plugins are needed. And I mean, plugins can need updating daily. So you get used to seeing emails from Wordfence if that's the case. I actually have something else that I use to keep an eye on that as well. But I don't mind getting emails from Wordfence. It tells me that they're doing their job and looking after your website. And also scan status. Dashboard notifications will also be displayed for security alerts. So if you've seen my video for updating plugins or themes, you will notice that down here, where is it? It will actually have a little yellow circle. If there's, say, 2 plugins to be updated, there will be like a little red circle up here with 2, and Wordfence will also have like a little yellow circle with a 2 because it will have shown up in their scan. Email me when Wordfence is automatically updated. It's not selected by what's the word, by default, and I don't need to be notified when Wordfence is automatically updated. I'm quite happy to not know about it. I get enough emails from them. Email me if Wordfence is deactivated. I certainly want to know about that, because there's no reason for it to be deactivated unless you're upgrading to a different type of WordPress security plugin, or you know, some host may have their own security and not require you to have Wordfence or another type of security plugin, and if that's the case, that's fine. But if somebody else is doing it, you want to find out why. Email me if the Wordfence application firewall is turned off. Same thing, you want to know. This is the default is alert me with scan results of this severity level or greater. The default is low. I'm not even sure what low would be. If a plugin wants to be needs updating, or a theme needs updating, it tends to be medium. Yeah, like I said, I'm not sure what low is, what would classify as a low problem. I don't know, but for whatever reason, there is a low there. High might be something like, oh, I don't know, a website plugin has not been updated for a long time, or it's been taken out of the WordPress repository. WordPress is no longer comfortable having it. They don't want to recommend it, and that's something that you might want to know about and deactivate that plugin and find something else instead. Critical might be something like you've had a lot of attacks on your website, or something like a file has been uploaded to your website and it's not comfortable with it. If you do get that sort of notice, do log in. Don't freak out completely. It might be completely okay. If it is a case that a file has been uploaded, it will usually tell you, what it thinks might have happened there. And in the case of a file upload, it might have been your website host that has done something. You could get in contact with them and ask them, hey, I got this in my Wordfence scan, and I just want to check that, is this something that you've done, or do I need to be concerned? I keep that on low because I like to be on top of all that stuff. Alert when an IP address is blocked. Yeah, basically somebody's been trying to get into your website and they've been blocked, which is good. Just gives you a heads up that, it's working, but also, why have they been trying this? And it might be an indication that, you should be doing a little bit more to try and protect the website. And you can block the IP too. Alert when someone is locked out from login. If you had a WooCommerce or an e-commerce website and a lot of users, you might not want to know every time somebody forgets their password. It's up to you. Alert when someone is blocked from logging in from using a password found in a breach. Yeah, that would be something you'd want to know about. Somebody, a breach is when a website's been kind of hacked and they've got all this information and they're trying to use that login. You don't want them in your website. Alert when the lost password form is used for a valid user. Yeah, again, it's just keeping you aware of what's happening with the website. Alert me when someone with admin access signs in. Administrators can do anything on the website. So if you don't have any other admins and suddenly there's someone with admin access signing in, yeah, you want to check that out. If it is another admin, just say you've given somebody permission to log in to your website to do one particular job and they're suddenly logging in when they shouldn't be, that's going to let you know. Alert me when a non-admin user signs in. Again, if you've got a big e-commerce website and lots of customers, you probably don't want to know every time they log in to check on orders or update their details. Alert me when there's a large increase in attacks detected on my site. Yeah, you probably want to know about that. In fact, I'd say you do. Web application status, it's enabled. You can see here we have the extended protection, which you want to see. Advanced firewall options, delay IP and country blocking until after. Yeah, no, I probably wouldn't recommend that. Why give them a chance? I haven't found that Wordfence is particularly bad for slowing down a website. And honestly, if it slowed it down a second or so, I personally would rather have my website be protected. Allowed IP addresses that bypass all rules. This might be like if you're working on your website and you know your IP, you can put it in there. That way you don't have any problems getting in. These are just different services that you can say that, yes, you're happy enough with them to get in there. Immediately block IPs that access these URLs. What is that? Set a trap for the bad guys. Oh, okay. Very high drama. Okay, fair enough. Ignored IP addresses for Wordfence. Again, that's just ones that can bypass it. These are their rules. I just leave them as that. Manually refresh rules. Every so often you'll log in, or you may log in and have a little notification on your dashboard telling you that for whatever reason, Wordfence wasn't able to refresh the rules, and that you may need to do it manually. So what you would do, you would come down to the All Options, find the Rules section under Firewall Options, and all you do is just click that. And you can see rules are updated. I'm sure that they were fine anyway, because I didn't have anything like that. It is the 17th today here, and you can see that the next check is on the 19th. Brute force protection, it just stops people from trying to get in. These are the standard options. You can change this. This gives people 20 login failures. That's a lot of login failures. We could set it for 5. Same with lockout after how many forgotten password attempts. Let's change that to 5. Count failures over what period of time. So 4 hours is what they usually use, but you can change that up to whatever suits you. Amount of time a user is locked out. Sometimes it might be 5-10 minutes or something, but I mean, 5 or 10 minutes isn't going to stop somebody who, you know, they get locked out and they have to wait 5 minutes. It's not the end of the world. If they have to wait 4 hours, they might go away and try something else. Immediately lock out invalid usernames. Yeah, that's not selected by standard. It's up to you what you want to do there. Again, you can see immediately block the IP of users who try to sign in as these usernames. With WordPress websites, the default login is WP admin. So just say your website was mywebsite.com. Your WordPress standard login is mywebsite.com/WP-admin. It's best to use a plugin or some other way of changing the actual login address. So you might want to change it to, I don't know, mywebsite.com/potatoes or / I don't know, Aries or / black cat or / a jumble of letters. Doesn't have to be a word. It's just another little thing that kind of helps prevent people trying to get in there. And if you did that, you might want to stop somebody from trying to log in with admin, because I kind of got a little bit off topic there. That wasn't exactly what they were talking about. What they were talking about was signing out people who use a username, and quite often the standard username for WordPress websites and a lot of different websites, I suppose, is admin. So one of the things you want to do, you don't want to call yourself admin for a username. And in fact, I'm fairly sure down here you can prevent users registering admin as a username if it doesn't exist. Just say you don't call yourself admin, and you've got this will only prevent it if it doesn't exist though. So that's a little bit thingo, but you could put in here admin to keep people from trying to do it that way. It's just kicks them straight out. Prevent use of passwords leaked in data breaches, enforced strong passwords. So admins and publishers to use strong passwords. That might be like, capital letters and character and all that sort of stuff. Yes, pussycat. Don't let WordPress reveal valid users in logins. Prevent users registering admin. prevent discovery of usernames, disable WordPress application passwords. I'm not sure what that is. Adds the ability for all user roles to use application passwords to allow third-party sites or apps to, oh, okay, yep. Can be safe to use, but in some cases, the setup process could be used to trick users into linking their WordPress logins. Oh, okay. This option is active by default, but can be disabled if you want to use application passwords. Okay, so if you've ever used something and you go to the website and instead of having to use a password, it might allow you to use a Google login or your Facebook login that is using the application passwords. This is a case of application passwords can be safe to use, but in some cases the setup process could be used to trick users into linking their WordPress login to a malicious site. So yeah, if you're confident that the website, so this might be quite often a plugin will say, okay, well, click here and it will authorize it and it will come back. If it's a really big popular plugin, you're probably fine. If it's some little plugin that was authorized or it's only just been only just come on the scene, it's got less than a couple of thousand what's the word, users or installations. It has no reviews. It's not compatible with your version of WordPress, all those sorts of things. Think seriously about it. You could be potentially opening your website up to malicious damage. What else we got? Block IPs who send post requests with blank user. Not really sure what that's about. Check password strength on profile updates. Participate in real-time Wordfence security network. Yep, this allows verified Google crawlers. They will not be rate limited. They'll let Google in and have a look at your website so that they can rank it and put it in their search engine. This is just about different things. You don't really need to worry about that. Allowed URLs. This might be for, I don't know. Oh, you might have something that's checking. It might be, I don't know. It might be something like, I don't know. But for whatever reason, if you want to allow different URLs to access it, it might be something to do with, I don't know, checking your website. Might be a search engine. It might be something that's testing your website speed and that, unless you really know what you're doing, I'd be wary. What does this say? Oh, it's part of the learning mode feature. When you first install it, it will spend, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 days, maybe a week, actually learning to see what happens, what sort of things you've got linked to it. So it learns what the normal is so that it knows what is and what isn't normal and what to react to. Okay. This is really interesting. It's not applicable in the free version, but if you do pay for the premium version, which I think is about $100 US a year, you can actually block certain countries. Say you're getting a lot of people trying to get into your website from, say, Russia or whatever country, particularly if your website is mainly just for your own country, If you service American clients only or Australian clients only, and you're getting all this traffic from Russia, you might want to, if you had the premium option, if you have the premium version, you might want to say, nope, don't want anything to do with Russia or this country or that country. Schedule Wordfence scans. I would keep that enabled. Let Wordfence choose when they scan my site. I just leave it as the default. You can have a standard scan, which is what I usually go with. They do have a high sensitivity if you're worried about being hacked. It's more thorough, but it may produce some false positives. But you can come in here. This is in the all options section. Yes, if you're concerned about that. They also have the limited scan. This is for people with very low amounts of website hosting. If you if you have say you're only paying $1 or $2 per month for your website hosting, which is like internet rent for your website to live on the internet, you might not have many resources. They're not going to give you much. You don't give them much money, so they're only going to give you a little about. If you've got a one-page website, that might be fine, but you're not going to be able to run an e-commerce site or a website with a lot of post blogs, pages, etc. And for those websites, there is an option here that you can have only a limited scan so that it doesn't use up much of your resources. But the problem with that is that, you know, it is leaving your website more vulnerable. What else have we got? You can, this is just a standard that they've got in here. You can scan files outside your WordPress installation. Use low resource scanning, reduces server load by lengthening the scan duration. So just basically, I don't know how long it takes it to scan, but let's say it usually scans within, I don't know, 5 minutes. You can use this so that it might take half an hour or an hour, which, you know, obviously takes longer, but it doesn't use as much power. So it's just easier on your website. You've got certain files that you might not want to be scanned by Wordfence. You can put them in here. Traffic logging. You can ask to only see security traffic, yes, or all traffic. If you, excuse me, if you select all traffic, yeah, go on. If you select all traffic, it will log everybody, including anybody like yourself or other admins or people that may be editors that have permission to post on your website. It will log in customers. It's up to you whether you want to know that or not. Import, export, login security options. You can also get to the login security options from over here. Actually, we need to save the changes I made. You can see it's thinking and it's done that over there. Now we can go over to login security. Now, this is what I recommend that you do, that you get two-factor authentication. It's just another way to keep your website secure. Little things like making sure you don't have admin as a username, making sure that your login page doesn't say WP admin all help, and this will help even further. What you need to do with two-factor authentication is use something like a Google Authenticator, or there will be other ones you can see up here. Google Authenticator, free OTP and Authy. You can use that, and what happens is on your smartphone, the authenticator will change a password every minute. So when I set this up, when I go to sign in, it will require me to enter my username and password on the correct password login page, and then it will ask me for a login. So to set it up, you just take your smartphone, which I have here. You have your authenticator. You just scan the code, which you just did. And let me see if I can, no, I'm not going to show you. But basically it comes up and it just says WordPress and the name of it. And it gives a code, a 6-digit code, which changes every minute. So what it will ask you to do after that, you need to put in the code here. So, and you activate it. And then it will ask you to download. Don't skip, download it, because if, you know, you lost your phone or it just died, you need to be able to get into it. So what this is, I am actually going to deactivate it. And set it up again sometime, because otherwise I have just shown everybody all my codes, which was really silly. So my excuse is it's very early in the morning here, and that's why my voice is a little bit raw too. But that's how you do that. And then you go into settings and you can see how many admins are there. You can set it so that all administrators need to have 2-factor authentication, and you can make it so that editors need it as well as authors and contributors. Subscribers, I don't think most people would. Maybe some websites do, and particularly if your subscribers were quite techie, they might not have an issue with that, but a lot of subscribers would be like, require 2FA for all admins. That's not a bad idea. You can select this, like if we went here, you can see you can select this, and it does give it a grace period. So in this case, it looks like maybe a week it gives it, but you could change that to, what is today? You can see today's the 17th. You could change that to the 18th if you wanted. You can allow remembering a device for 30 days, which can be really handy. If you're confident, if you're working from your own home, you've got your virus protection on your computer or your device, that's not a bad idea. It saves you having to use the 2FA every time you log in. It will save it for 30 days, and then after 30 days you will have to do it again. This is just different things. This has got required for XML RPC call authentication. So if you use the WordPress app or the Jetpack plugin or other services that require XML RPC, you need to put skips there. Jetpack is really popular, and so is the WordPress app. It's a kind of a really cool little app. I don't mind it. I actually use Google Analytics app, which gives you much more detail anyway. But the WordPress app is really nice. But the Jetpack, which you need the Jetpack plugin to have the WordPress app, the Jetpack plugin can be it can bloat a website. So I'd rather just have the Google Analytics myself. Disable XML RPC authentication. What else we got? And reCAPTCHA. And all options. Oh, did I save things here? Okay, because I messed with that, even though I didn't save it. What do we got here? All options. We did that before. Login security, live traffic. This is a new website and I haven't done anything with it, so we have no website here. Scan. You can see, look how many files, 6,912. There's 20 themes and plugins. There's one user checked. It's checked 443 URLs and it's found no problems, which is brilliant. If you did get hacked, you could actually hire them to clean your website. I'm not sure how much it is. It might be 200 or 300, but I think it includes a free year of their premium service as well. Vulnerability scan, what's that? I'm not sure why. I think that's just standard, but there's been no problems. Sometimes you will get, you might get something like it'll bring it up and it's not an issue. And when it does, you can actually, it will be here and it will say something like ignore or look further into it. But Wordfence, incredibly popular, used by a lot of people. It's really, really quite nice. So if you did have something that you want to know about, you could get in touch with, well, you could just Google whatever the issue is. Yeah, you can see it's just analyzing stuff. Oh, full log. Oh God, look at all that. Email activity log. Enter the email. Oh, okay. No, thank you. Yeah. Firewall. And that is Wordfence. I think it's brilliant. It does a lot. For, even with the free version, there is the option to update that. So I hope you found that helpful. If you did, please consider liking, subscribing, and yeah, thank you very much. Have a good night.